Would you just continue using the ladies?
Yeah, I don't let it stop me.
Hello, it's Manchester Pride, it's so exciting!
Do you work with kids specifically, yeah?
Yeah, so I used to work for kids when it was under the Tavistock comportment, so I feel really strongly that we need to make sure we've got appropriate healthcare that's accessible for all young people.
In your mind, the trans women are just as much women?
Yeah, you'd like to think so, yeah.
Yeah, and they can be lesbians?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Trans people can be anyone they want.
What's with all the kids?
It's surprising how many people considered it a victory. It just shows how malicious that side of the aisle can be when they want to be.
We do need to acknowledge what homosexuality is, right?
Yeah. I think there's like, I get nervous.
We have a message for the community.
He was there with a microphone and he stuck it in my face and I just went, "Stop transing kids. Thank you, Supreme Court, for protecting gay rights."
They may
Just to let you know, you're being interviewed by somebody who makes money out of transphobia, so you might want to.
Oh, I see. I didn't realise that.
talk to
Okay,
us.
sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
He's like, how can so many people say so many stupid things? Morning everyone, it's Menno here reporting from Manchester Pride. So this year I've been to London Pride, London Trans Pride, Brighton Pride, now Manchester Pride. So I'm interested to see if it's any, different here or if it's all the same, because to be honest, you can't really tell the difference between Trans Pride and London Pride. It's all just about gender anyway. And I have to say, even though I'm supposed to be part of this community, and this is an event for me as much as anybody else who's part of the LGBTQIA whatever alphabet, I don't feel excited to be here at all, because I know it's just all going to be gender crap, and there's two people there with trans flags already. I know that just acknowledging homosexuality now is considered controversial or anti-trans or whatever, so I feel apprehensive. Because in Manchester, the TRAs, they can be pretty vile. We've seen that at other protests. It was in Manchester where a gay guy had to be escorted away for his own safety from wearing a LGBT Alliance t-shirt. It was in Manchester where Belle Steffi got milkshaked. So it could get hairy. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just gonna interview people, see why they're here, and maybe I might find some other people who are on the same page, who think it's pretty important to acknowledge sex in policy and law, who are happy about the Supreme Court ruling. I've got my sign here, so I'll get that out in a bit. So we'll see what happens. But I have to be honest, I'm a bit on edge. But we'll see. Might be nothing to worry about. If you'd like to support my reporting, you can do so monthly via Patreon, or if you prefer, send me a one-off tip via PayPal, or on here via Super Thanks. Right, let's go. Morning. Waiting for the sun to come out. Yeah. Morning, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Is this your first Pride, or have you been before?
I came last year, but this is my first time walking in the parade.
Nice. And you have a message here. I'm having a full-on gay crisis.
Yes.
What inspired this?
It's a quote from Heartstopper, which is like an amazing queer show that just has great representation. So, repping the Heartstopper and the queerness.
The queerness. And how would you define queerness?
I define myself as queer because I don't feel like I fit with a particular label, so that just covers, like, in general, just being part of the queer community. So, yeah, reclaiming the label back.
Right. And because it used to be, like, quite a nasty homophobic slur. There's still quite a few people who feel that.
Yeah, some people like it, some people don't, but quite a few people are reclaiming it back just as more of a general term, so I feel like it fits me the best.
Mm-hmm. So you're not having an actual crisis?
Not anymore, but I was. I think we all go through that.
I think crisis is a part of life. Well, have a great day.
You too.
Oh, so this float is for Salford LGBTQ+ Youth Pride. I wonder how much they're trying to tell kids that they're born in the wrong body. Oh, here we go. Here's the trans stuff. Right. Gender is fluid. Boy kisser. Be who you want to be. Love yourself. Trans love. Love yourself. What could be more ironic than this? When it's all about rejecting your sex and trying to be something that you're not. And this one here is made by an 8-year-old. An 8-year-old, like when they say youth. How young are we talking about? And why? And of course, trans rights. Okay, here's a very colourful display of a phoenix.
Yes, rising from the flames and providing love to everyone in Manchester. So we're here to lead that parade and make sure that through this music and dancing we're able to give that love back to everyone in the city around us. So really excited about today.
Yeah, love is the theme for this year's parade. How would you interpret that message?
Oh, that's a good one. It's I think it's about progressive love. It's about providing an energy, an unstoppable force that kind of resonates with everyone, no matter where they come from, no matter what their background experiences. It's bringing them all together in one big unified whole, and yeah, really celebrating that today. So yeah, that's what it's about for me.
Now, love can be quite tricky. And sometimes hard to navigate and manage. How do you feel about the community as a whole and love for different parts, from one part of the community to another, if you like?
I think it's difficult. I think we're going through some very difficult times where communities don't necessarily feel heard sometimes or included in what's going on, and that's why this city it's so important that people can find that space to be themselves and to feel that energy. And I think that's what the Phoenix representing. You know, there is a period in everyone's lives where perhaps they don't have enough love and perhaps they are struggling to find the connection with their community and with other people that can provide that nurturing spirit for them. And so that once the Phoenix rises, there is that opportunity to come back together and to really celebrate the fact that that is the constant powerful force within us all, and we can all use our resources to provide that love back to the people in Manchester.
What would you say are tensions within the community that we need to look at?
I think, speaking from my professional experience, I think there's a lot of people who are really struggling with the cost of living, who are finding that they are not heard and they're excluded from decision making, and I think therefore they feel that they are not part of that wider spirit that I just talked about. So it's about making sure that we're thinking about, when we're talking about love, we're not just talking about the sort of, you know, the energy of it. We're talking about the practical expression of it. We're talking about finding ways, exploring ways of bringing those people back into a space where their voices are heard, where they're given a safe space to talk, and they're given some power back to those people to really be able to understand that they have a role in the changing society they see around them.
Now, this year we had a big ruling from the Supreme Court that said sex in the Equality Act means biological sex.
Yeah.
It also said that trans rights are very much protected under gender reassignment, but this ruling has made quite an impact, hasn't it?
Yeah, huge, and I think people are very upset and very distressed about it, and I can understand that it's affecting people in different ways, and I think this is an opportunity to really perhaps kind of reflect on why it's important to find those safe spaces for everyone, and why it's not, you know, you shouldn't just have a knee-jerk reaction to one particular case, one particular judgment. It's about looking at the progression of rights, you know, in the longer term. It has taken us from a place where there were very few trans rights at all to where people now are given the opportunity to express themselves and be themselves and to have that advocacy for what they are and their community what they represent. So I think that for me is a progression you're not going to be able to roll back no matter what. But it's going to be a difficult time of trying to reassess and regroup. And yeah, absolutely, people are hurting. That's why today is so important, because people are being allowed into this space to really celebrate whoever they are, wherever they come from, whatever their experience is. This is a good day to celebrate that achievement and that rising spirit of unity.
There are also people in our community who are happy about the Supreme Court ruling, particularly lesbians and gay men who feel it's very important that homosexuality is acknowledged as being based on sex. How can those two sides ever come together through love?
I hope so. I really do hope so. Yeah, absolutely.
Now check out this guy who does not want these kinds of conversations to be happening.
To my core, I believe that everyone has the right to express themselves, no matter what their background is, no matter who they are today. They may come
to you know, you're being interviewed by somebody who makes money out of transphobia, so you might want to.
Oh, I see. I didn't realise that. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry.
Right. Thank you so much. That man who interrupted is Andrew Davies, although online he goes by Joanna Cuddle, because he's a cuddly bear, although rather prickly if you don't agree with him. And he's the man who, in August 2023, tried to cancel Roisin Murphy for saying this about puberty blockers. Please don't call me a TERF, please don't keep using that word against women, I beg you. But puberty blockers are absolutely desolate. Big Pharma laughing all the way to the bank. Little mixed up kids are vulnerable and need to be protected. That's just true. But his plan didn't work out. She ended up having her highest charting solo album, and of course she was proved right by the Cass Review. But none of that matters to our authoritarian Care Bear, because he thinks trans people are divine. He then posted on X, just saw professional transphobe Mr. Menno sneakily interviewing Pride attendees. Manchester Pride, watch out! He'll only turn your words into transphobic content. LGB with the T. Well, here's another one of those sneaky interviews. Right, so this is the spot where basically everyone who's part of the parade is gathering. Drag queens. How are you looking forward to today?
Oh, I'm so excited, Bab. Incredibly excited. You're having a good pride so far, love.
Sorry?
You're having a good pride so far.
Well, I just got here 5 minutes ago.
Just got here.
But I went to London Pride, I went to London Trans Pride, I went to Brighton Pride, so...
I've never been Brighton. I've always wanted to go Brighton Pride. Always wanted to go Brighton Pride. Never been there. Never.
That's where you need to be.
It's a bit far. Brighton's a bit far for me, you know what I mean?
Is this your first Pride? I don't think so, right?
Oh, no, love. I'm not... I've been to most of the Prides, so I'm always at the Prides. That's all. It's Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds. Do you know what I mean? I'm always at the Prides, celebrating Pride.
When was the first time you went to Pride?
When I was 14. 14.
So last year.
I wish I was that young, love. I wish I was that young. No, yeah, when I was like 14, I think it was.
Right, my first one was 97.
97?
Before you were born, right?
Actually, I was born in 1998, so yeah.
Yeah, you were born after the Spice Girls.
Was I? And I'm obsessed with the Spice Girls.
That to me is crazy, right?
Yeah, it is. Bloody hell.
Right, so the theme for this year is love.
Yes.
What do you think we need to take away from that message this year, particularly?
I think, personally, when it comes to love, it's about loving everybody. It doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter about the sexuality. It's just supporting each other, coming together as a whole community, and just sharing love and positivity. Like that's what the whole message is about, really. It's just come together as one big community and just showing the support when it's needed. Do you know what I mean?
This year there was a big ruling from the Supreme Court. Did you hear about that?
Yes, and I don't like it. I would swear, but I can't swear. But yeah.
You can swear, I can bleep it out.
I can. This is what I think, love. Yeah, I'm despised, and I'm very frustrated by the whole situation, and the things that they've said and the things that they've done. I don't think it's right what they've done. It's just ridiculous with the whole Supreme Court and the things that they're doing. It shouldn't be like this. Like you say, we are in 2025, and we shouldn't be having these situations where the Supreme Court are saying these things and doing this stuff by creating all these laws when they shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous.
Right.
Yes.
I was in the Supreme Court when they handed down the ruling, and to be honest, I was quite happy with it.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that they said was that homosexuality is protected on the basis of sex, and to me as a gay man, that's quite important.
Yeah.
So is that something that you disagree with now, or because we do need to acknowledge what homosexuality is, right?
Yeah. I think for me, I think there's like, I get nervous.
It's I just want to get different perspectives on it, right?
I think I don't know. Like, I'm quite. It's like a hard one for me, I think, because I don't know. I'm like when it comes to stuff like that, I'm very much like, I find it hard to kind of like explain like how I feel in the situation, because like say like so many people have different opinions and different kind of feelings about it.
And there's very strong feelings, you know.
Yeah, like 100%. And I think for me, like I think like it's quite easy to offend someone when people have different opinions.
Yeah.
So like
I almost felt scared saying to you, I'm happy with the ruling.
Yeah.
Because to me, it means gay rights are protected, but also, you know, trans people are protected under gender reassignment. And if somebody passes, then they're also protected. Because, say...
What law are you on about in terms of the Supreme Court? Are we on about the same one?
The one that said that basically for the Equality Act, sex means biological sex.
Yeah, say like this kind of stuff. Like I think I don't really agree with the way the Supreme Court comes out with things. Like I think because for me, like I support all my trans brothers, my trans sisters, like trans women, like all women. Do you know what I mean? And like we should be able to, as being queer people, myself being gay, like you should be able to feel literally supported. You should be able to feel empowered. So I think like for like myself, I think with the Supreme Court, I think when it comes to trans people as well, there's like certain laws they've done and they've come out with, I don't personally agree with. Do you know what I mean? Because it's kind of taking a kind of like it's kind of taking like a part away from the trans community, and like for like myself, like I am a really big supporter of my trans brothers and sisters, and like that's where I lie as like a drag queen. Like I'm always there for the support of the trans community, and for myself, obviously like queer people, like being gay and stuff, and obviously I'm talking that much now. Right, I'm gonna have to head off. Right.
You head off, have a drink of water, and have a fantastic day.
You too.
Ciao, ciao. What's your drag name?
Me a virgin. Yeah.
Binary is a computer, not people. What's with all the kids? Now on the day I noticed how many kids there were, especially very young kids, and as I'm editing this video, it becomes even more obvious. Like, look at this woman. She's got a trans t-shirt that says, "You'll have to go through me." Here she is, sort of dragging her toddler along in a cart, covered in trans flag bunting. There's a trans sign, and then right behind her is, I assume, her daughter, wearing the trans flag as a cape. It's like, what? Here's a bearded woman in a wheelchair with a shirt that says trans papa. So this is a woman who gave birth but identifies as a man and uses the seahorse as a symbol for her identity, just like Freddie McConnell, who made a whole documentary about it. Because male seahorses get the eggs from the female and they hold them in like a pouch, fertilize them, and then give birth to the offspring. So she's using this to affirm her identity, and then her daughter is wearing a shirt that says seahorse daughter. And this is how, you know, they use children to affirm their own mistaken sense of identity. And then you see this: queer kids deserve safe schools. Like, this is pure identity politics based around children. Around children. Like, leave them alone. It's not Butlins or Chessington World of Adventures. And they're mixed in with the fetish crowd, you know, they're not being kept separate at all. Here we have a fetish pup hiding his face, and here's a child with a rainbow flag. But hey, it's okay, we're all queer. Young, old, pub, child. We are family. I got doggy biscuits with me. And at the same time, we're being told that transphobes can bug off. How things have changed since the early Manchester Prides in the 80s. Right, here's Tesco's, because they're always at Pride. Trans women are women, always. Call my stylist. Funny. I had a quick chat with these parents. So their sign says, I love my gorgeous trans son. And on the back, get to know some trans people. Don't be a victim of ignorance. It's not ignorant to know what sex is. Their daughter is in their mid-40s, lives in Scotland, and apparently can't get any testosterone from a GP, so is getting it privately. And they said that if I was to get an interview with anyone, it should be Keir Starmer, and I should tell him to stand up for trans rights, basically. Okay, so the street's sort of filling up with people waiting for the parade to start. One thing I've noticed here is just how many kids there are. And it's quite corporate, this Pride. There's lots of big brands like Tesco, Starling Bank here. Oh wow. Oh, another trans flag. Right. There's two more little children there with a sign that says love is love. It's like, why do you have to bring your kid to this? Right, I'm here with Charlotte, who has got a fancy camera.
It's not that fancy.
It looks fancy to me to take pictures of the day. And I'm here filming. So, and I saw your t-shirt. It's sisterhood, not sisterhood. So what's your message behind the shirt?
Well, like, there's so much going on at the moment. There's so much like anti-trans messaging, and you know, I really feel strongly that the only way we're going to survive is if we survive as a group. So we can't take any exclusionary action at this point in time. Like, we have to stand together, because at the end of the day, once they're done coming for trans people, they'll be coming for everybody. So we have to stand firm and stand together.
So you think like the trans people are the canaries in the coal mine kind of thing?
Yeah, I just think that there's so much anti-trans and anti-queer rhetoric at the moment. It feels like we've taken a step back, and it's really important to me to show visibly that I stand with trans people and that I stand with trans women, and I feel that we're only going to succeed as a group if we succeed together.
Okay. So I'm guessing you're aware of the Supreme Court ruling earlier this year.
Yeah, it's very, very upsetting, to be honest with you. It's surprising how many people considered it a victory. Some really visible people that I'm not going to name names, but it just shows how malicious that side of the aisle can be when they want to be.
Okay. And I guess one of the people that's happy with it is JK Rowling.
That's the one that I wouldn't say the name of, but yeah.
Oh, the one who shall not be named.
Shall not be named, absolutely.
So she's now Voldemort kind of thing.
Well, that's everyone else's business. I can say that I used to be a massive Harry Potter fan, and as she's shown her true colours, I'm no longer one, and I guess she doesn't care about that, so.
Okay. Now, she would argue that she stands up for women's rights.
Sure.
You don't think there's that's not legit somehow?
I think that she thinks that her perspective is the correct one. And look, everyone has a right to believe what they believe, but at the end of the day, if your beliefs are directly impacting other people's safety and their ability just to live their lives, why does it matter that much to you? Like, they've never done you any harm. So it's the same rhetoric that was used against gay people in the 80s. It was the same rhetoric that's been used against non-binary people. Like, you just have to see it for what it is. It's people who are small-minded and they don't have the ability to think outside the box. So.
Right. It's interesting that you mentioned that this was kind of used against gays and lesbians in the past. But there are also a number of gays and lesbians who are quite happy with the Supreme Court ruling. In fact, there was a whole coalition of them called the Lesbian Interveners, who, for them, it's really important that female homosexuality is about sex, not gender identity. Do you think they're bigoted or ignorant about things?
I don't think it's necessarily about bigotry or ignorance. I think it's people standing up for themselves. But I think at the end of the day, you have to remember that this is something that you've gone through too and would go through again. Like, if you think that they'll stop at queer people in restrooms, then you're absolutely out of your mind. It's already being used against cis women in restrooms. So how is it that by restricting other people's rights, you're not ultimately going to be restricting your own? And I think that it's a little bit short-sighted of them. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not going to change everybody's mind. That's the way they want to live their lives. But they just have to remember that if people hadn't stood up for them back in the day, they wouldn't have the same rights they do. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And have a good day.
You too.
Thank
Bye.
you. Ah, men.
That's exactly how it sounds. That's when I read the Bible, right? It was like that.
And can I see yours as well, or? Sorry. Trans kids. What is your message particularly to kids?
So I'm a therapist in the NHS, and I just think it's really important that we protect trans kids, non-binary kids, and gender diverse young people.
Now, there's been quite a bit of pushback against, gender-affirming care. We've had the cast review. Tavistock's closed. How does this impact? Do you work with kids specifically?
Yeah, so I used to work for GIDS when it was under the Tavistock comportment, so I feel really strongly that we need to make sure we've got appropriate healthcare that's accessible for all young people, no matter what their kind of financial position is, and that they've got some space to kind of sit with their identity and just explore that kind of natural transition.
So when GIDS closed, did you have to find another job?
Yeah.
And are you now like with Gender Plus or Gender GP or one of those?
I work in CAMS, so child and adolescent mental health, so I'm predominantly a trauma therapist.
Yeah. And what was your reaction when the cast review came out?
Lots of expletives.
What do I want to say? Cautious.
You're cautious.
Yeah. I think we need to be mindful of this is young people's lives that are being impacted, and it's not a political bargaining chip.
So here's a woman who's probably put loads of kids on a medical path to drag them out of puberty, and I really wish that in the moment I'd had my wits about me more and asked her about transing away the gay. That's what one of my signs was about. I'm afraid this was the best I could do in the moment. Perhaps one of these kids will be one of our future clients. The parade's just started. Here's the Phoenix and the dancers. Oh, here's that queer kids sign. And that's getting a big round of applause here. Oh, that's like the mayor or something. Okay, here's the Palestine flag and against genocide. Stand by your trans. Trans joy. Here's a float about supporting those with HIV. Since 1985. Wow. And there's Russell T. Davies, the gay man who doesn't think that LGBT Alliance should even exist. Trans, walking the dog. Yes means yes. Hashtag love consent. Ooh. So those are survivors of sexual assault by the look of it. Well, that's an important thing to point out, I think. But also, they should have no means no. Okay, there's a bit corporate one. 2E. And a trans flag with protect the dolls. Oh. And boys in Speedos.
What's the YouTube channel?
Mr. Menno.
What?
Mr. Menno.
Mr. Menno?
So I covered different Pride events.
Right. Ah, okay.
And that was a great shot, but I think I missed it. As I'm rushing down the pavement to see if I could get another shot of that person on the parade, I come across these guys who had placards, you know, with biblical quotes and basically saying, repent, repent, all that kind of stuff. And one of them had a sign about a man who used to be gay, but now apparently he's happily married with kids. So the guy on the sign is what they call an ex-gay. So I had a chat with the man who was carrying that sign. And as we're talking, this gay Catholic guy comes up and he gets involved in the conversation. So I started recording.
Because the numbers aren't really in your favour.
Not on a day like this, no.
No, but it never will be. The way that you carry yourself, the way that you actually taunt people, and these signs, they're only going to get a reaction.
You know, that's the main thing.
Tell me about, tell me about, have mercy on me, O God, for the plenitude of thy great mercy. Quote the Psalms, lead me by still fresh waters, for thy grace always increases.
Right.
How are you going to help people? You're not helping people. That's not a Christian life. You've got to invite people in.
It's the truth that makes people
But you need to invite people in before you start meeting them with the love and mercy Jesus. And, some of these are really quite hard scripture passages. Some of these are even covenantal theology from the Old Testament. They don't know about that. You're doing yourself a disservice.
Well, they can read, can't they? Most people.
Yeah, but they've not got the theological kind of intelligence as you are.
My personal story was I was throwing myself in the deep end,
Yeah, but I don't care about your personal story, because your study as somebody to these people who've all just come off the street, your study with your sandwich board saying, look at me, I've got it all sussed, but you've not. Because we're all in need of a saviour. Yeah. So the more it'll never work until you start coming here with a bit of humility and saying, I need God just as much as you do.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Like, I'm a gay man.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm not a religious person.
Yeah.
I used to be.
Yeah.
More sort of Protestant.
Yeah.
So does that mean you live a celibate life?
So, as somebody who's practiced as a Catholic, I understand that it's hard for a lot of people to maintain a chaste life, but the Catholic Church, Christ's one true church, because as you know, Protestantism broke away from the Catholic Church in the Middle Ages. Yeah. The Catholic Church teaches that all relationships sexual outside of marriage is sinful. God, in His love and mercy, will give me what is lacking at the moment of death, because I believe in His grace.
Right.
I'm going to die an imperfect person. I'm going to try my best.
It's interesting to me that you're here because you're like a proud gay man. You've got the rainbow on your cheeks. You're a proud Catholic.
Yeah, I am.
But in terms of making that sort of fit in your life, you say...
Perfectly fits in my life. The Catholic Church teaches from the Catechism that all unjust acts of discrimination against homosexual people should be avoided and are condemned. In the Catechism it says that to discriminate against LGBT people is a mortal sin.
We're all sinning one way or another.
Of course we are. We're all in need of a saviour. And at the end of the day, if I struggle with, I don't know, I could be a sex addict for all you know. You know, I could be going to the sauna tonight, to the bathhouse, doing whatever. But for me, you know, I might struggle with that to the end of my life. The same somebody might be an alcoholic. The same somebody might be a gambler.
Yeah. I mean, there is something about that does make me feel a bit sad, because, I'm not a religious person.
No, what's your name, sorry?
Menno.
Menno, Billy.
Sorry, I can't shake my hand at the moment.
It's okay.
Because to me, if you find someone that you love, you know, in my case that would be a man.
Yeah, and in my case too.
Yeah, and I would love you to be able to experience that love and to not see it as sinful.
And I do, and I have done. I do. I had a best friend who I shared a relationship with who died 5 weeks ago, and he lived with HIV for most of his life. And I buried him 5 weeks ago. And let me tell you, the love that I experienced in that relationship was second to none. And if I can't experience that level of love in my life again, then I don't want it. Because there was no expectation. Love grows on people. We have a misunderstanding of love today. We attach love to created things, to money, to drink, to food, to pleasure, to material objects. But I didn't realise after 5 weeks of after burying my best friends, that I had true love all along. It was staring me back in the face in someone who I deeply cared about. And that person also was a Christian, a Catholic, and we loved each other. And you know what? You know, funnily enough, I was raised by a mother and a father, but when they couldn't have me, my mum's gay best friend used to take me out on days out with his partner. Now, I know that they will always be in their relationship. Is there a place for them in the Catholic Church? Of course there is. Because at the end of the day, we're all God's children. We're all God's children. And if you look at the state of the world, with the wars and the famine and all the injustice that's going on, things like this kind of vitriol, it just doesn't reach people. It just doesn't reach people at all. So, you know, that's all I can offer you. All I can offer you is God's love and His mercy. Because, you know, as you can tell by the way that I'm speaking, I'm not some crackpot. You know, I'm very normal, you know, and I work hard and go to work like everybody else, and I live a normal life. And we can all agree that standing here with a sign, acting like you've got it all sussed, ain't going to really speak to people, you know?
I mean, I'm happy to talk to them, but it's not going to make me want to revisit these scriptures. You know, I'm familiar with them, but...
Of course not, because it's a conversation like we're having now between me and you that's probably going to make you maybe want to change your mind, or, you know, look at those scriptures, having a meaningful conversation rather than just pelting Bible verses at people. Yeah. You know, it just doesn't work, does it?
And like, he's got a sign about a man who used to be gay, now he's married with kids, and it's like, okay, if it worked for him, then fine, but...
Great for you, but, you know, what message does that send, you know? Before they've even got off the precipice, they're being told that they've got to change, they've got to be this, they've got to be that, they've got to be the other, when actually it's kind of start by asking you your name. Where do you come from? It's a pleasure to meet you. You know, because none of this works. None of this works. So I will say to you, God bless, happy Pride, and please this weekend take care of yourself.
Happy Pride. Yeah. All the best.
Then I spotted Tiara Sky in the red dress. He was there to promote Strongbow strawberry cider, and he has this thing where he goes up to people, shoves a mic in their face, and just gets them to say things.
How are you doing, love? We are absolutely marvelous. We have a message for the community. Yes, just love everyone for who they are. Hey, baby! Hey, gorgeous! Happy Pride to each and every one of you out here in Manchester, darlings. We love you!
And so I thought, okay, I have to try and get in there. I'm running along the pavement trying to find a spot somewhere. Then I see that he's crossing the street.
So I quickly ran up to the fence, to the barricade, and he was there with a microphone, and he stuck it in my face. And I just looked at the camera guy, and I just went, "Hi, stop transing kids. Thank you, Supreme Court, for protecting gay rights." So I don't know whether they'll include that clip, but hey, you gotta try.
Surprise, surprise, that clip didn't make it into the Strongbow promo. But that's what Pride is about for them, you know, selling drinks, not addressing actual issues affecting the gays.
Oh. Okay, here we have a drag queen called ADHD who goes around doing drag queen story time. Let's see if he wants to talk.
Hello, it's Manchester Pride, it's so exciting!
How long have you been doing your act?
I'm 8 years into being the story time drag queen now, which is really exciting. I'm really happy to be here. Oh my goodness me, there's so many colours, I love it.
And you've become quite a controversial character, right?
Oh, I wouldn't call myself controversial. I would just say there are people out there who just don't see the colour when it comes to the rainbow. What they see is what they think something is, and we aren't scary people. Look at us, we're just really happy, and we're just happy to be here.
And what is the... I mean, you do like story time, right?
Yes. I was the first person. I started it, yes.
What sort of stories do you read?
My own books, which you can find online. I write my own books, so my books are about inclusivity and not bullying people. My most recent book is called My First Pride, and it's about going to Pride for the first time.
Why do you think that people take issue with you reading your stories to kids?
Do you know, people do tend to talk about the protests, and I don't think I've received a protest or any genuinely newsworthy negativity for quite a while, to be honest. People who don't like it just don't fully understand. I was on the radio recently with somebody, and I asked them the question, have you ever been to a drag queen story hour? And they hadn't, and I kind of just sat there going, how can you comment or have a genuine opinion about what you're talking about if you've never been to one? So I tell you what I'll do is I'll say, if you are somebody who's never been to a drag queen story hour, or you have these opinions, go to one and find out.
This year we had a big ruling from the Supreme Court in April. Are you familiar with the ruling?
I'm familiar with the ruling, yes. I am familiar with that ruling, yeah.
What was your reaction to that?
I was sad, but I also don't think the ruling changes anything. Trans people have always been here, trans people will always be here, and what one person or one ruling might say doesn't take away from the fact that trans people are always going to be around and deserve decency, human rights, and the ability to wee when they need to wee.
I was in the Supreme Court when they handed down the ruling, and one thing that they pointed out was, by saying that in the Equality Act sex means biological sex, that on that basis gay rights are protected, which I think is a good thing, right? But I think if I stand here and say, thank you, Supreme Court, you know, a lot of people aren't going to be happy with that. So does that mean that as a gay guy, I'm now sort of in this difficult spot where I want to celebrate gay rights, but it's interpreted as being transphobic, and I'm like, what, really?
I think lots of people like to try and polarize this situation. Do you know, it is possible to have sex-based rights and gender-based rights. They're both a thing, they both exist. This polarizing idea that we have to only support one and forget about the other, I think is a bit silly. People do have genders. Genders exist, they're definitely there, and there are definitely people who have genders which very much differ from the sum of their parts. I just don't know why people are so interested in the sum of other people's parts. Personally, if somebody wants to go about living their life and it makes them happy, I want them to live their life. I want them to be happy, because I know fine well if I was to ever come across somebody who's crying and sad, I'd want to do my very best to make them happy, whatever it takes.
And do your own stories that you write, do they focus on just, I don't know, just about anything, or do you have specific stories about, say, these gender issues and gender identity? And
I mean, My first book was about not bullying people, and it was about three goats and a wolf, and the wolf was bullying the small goat, and the three goats united together to stand up against the bully. It was about coming together and going up against somebody who is just being nasty. And there are, unfortunately, nasty people out there. There are people who are mean. And we can't always go up against them on our own. We have to join together. And that's the message that I tend to always talk about.
But if the wolf were to say, I identify as a sheep, what should the sheep do?
Well, I think, personally, I don't think anybody is, we'll stick away from an analogy on that one. We'll go down to the very cause of this. People aren't identifying as sheep, that's one thing. Women are...
Furries are getting more popular these days. Oh.
Well, that's not something that I really kind of talk about, to be honest. It's not part of what I do. What I do is I talk about what it means to be nice to people, to see somebody who might be different, and just be nice to people. That's all that really Drag Queen Story Hour has always been about. And it's not just about LGBTQ people. It's about people with different coloured skin, people with disabilities, people from different cultures. Drag Queen Story Hour, at the end of the day, is about loving the differences in people and not being scared of them.
Thank you.
Talking about furries and pups, here they are. And the Leatherman with their fetish flag, and they're followed by the Rubberman with the rubber flag. And there's a guy there holding a sign that says Rubberman and Trans Rights. And I think there's someone who identifies as, I don't know if it's a cow or a Dalmatian, but anything goes.
Here we have some really young kids. I mean, they're teens, they're young teens. They've got a fan that says and here you have a bunch with soft toy sharks. That's like a symbol for trans rights now. Hands off my trans teammates, rugby players. There's the Quakers. They're big supporters of trans. More children. So much of this could be really nice, like a really nice day out, if it wasn't for all this gender crap. Ruins everything. Just had quite a long chat with two young women. They both wore shirts that said Dykes for Dolls. So I asked them if they were okay being interviewed. They didn't want to be on camera. They were a bit nervous, but they were happy to chat. So we had a long chat, and it's the same old. Trans women are women, therefore trans women are lesbians, and excluding them from lesbian spaces is horrible. It's based on ignorance, fascist, this and that. But we had a perfectly reasonable, civil conversation. And God, what did we talk about? I mean, I did say that we talked about the Supreme Court ruling, and they were like, that was really upsetting. Trans people weren't listened to. And I was like, well, their case was being argued by, the Scottish government, Amnesty International, not just Amnesty UK, but Amnesty International, the EHRC, and they were like, yeah, but there were no trans people at the hearing. And I was like, well, I don't know why, trans organizations didn't intervene to be part of it. And they're like, well, they did. And I was like, no, there were two individuals, but individuals often don't get. Bop, bop. It's a proper train, proper steam train. Steaming with pride. I do like that. Yeah, so I said it's very, it's very unusual that an individual would get permission to intervene, but trans organizations didn't actually apply. Anyway, they didn't have much to say to that. They just kept saying, listen to trans people, we have to highlight trans voices. That's why they wore those shirts, dykes for dolls. And I went, what about, trans man, just to use their lingo for a bit. They only get attention when they give birth. And they were like, yeah, that's true. And I said, so doesn't that show that underneath it all, everybody knows who the women are? And they kind of went, and I said, because at the end of the day, that does make a difference, It's a form of misogyny that's hidden because we call them trans man. And they didn't really, they didn't make them flinch or angry or whatever. One actually said, yeah, you got a bit of a point there. So it was a very amiable, should I say, conversation. Then we talked about difference between sex and gender, and I said, to me, sex is really important. My rights are based on sex. Gender is a whole different thing. I said, I don't know if we can reconcile the two. Oh, look at that. Wow. You guys look amazing. I mean, see, a lot of this could be so much fun if it wasn't for all this gender bullshit. Anyways, what else did we say? Oh, there's another Protect the Dolls shirt. They just kept going back to listen to trans people, talk to trans people's voices need to be highlighted. I then mentioned detransitioners, and they're like, well, yeah, that's very important too, they should be listened to, but that's not trans people's fault. And I said, well, I mean, I agree, that's about the system. So there were a few things we could agree on, but not the core thing. But anyways, it's nice to have conversations that aren't aggressive and spiky. How's your Pride so far?
Oh, it's been lovely, thank you. Yeah, first one with the kids, so it's been nice.
First one with the kids?
Yeah, it's nice.
When was the first time you went to Pride, like without the kids?
Oh, 11 years ago, maybe.
Oh, you're a veteran. Right. And do you see yourself as part of the LGBTQI, all those letters, or?
Yeah, I've got a wife, so I guess that makes me gay.
Yeah, qualified. And you've got, on your shirt it says protect Scouse dolls.
Yeah.
Why the Scouse ones in particular? Is that where you're from?
That's where I'm from Liverpool, yeah. So it's really important to me.
Okay. And tell me a bit more about why this matters so much to you, this message.
I think because I'm part of the LGBT community and obviously a Scouser, so I thought it was just the perfect t-shirt for today, really.
Right. So the dolls, that's specifically about trans women.
Yeah.
Earlier this year we had a big judgment by the Supreme Court. Did you hear about that?
Yes, but I don't know much, I'll be honest.
Right, it just basically means that woman means woman and that trans women, for the Equality Act, are men. Right. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, but yeah, it's sad really, isn't it? Because it's not right.
Because it's what, sorry?
It's not right really, is it?
Well, this is why I'm having conversations with people to get different points of views about it. Now, you're in a relationship with a woman yourself? And in your mind, the trans women are just as much women?
Yeah, you'd like to think so, yeah.
Yeah, and they can be lesbians?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Of course?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Everyone's a lesbian.
Everyone's a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian.
Give it a try.
No! Look at this one. Sorry. No, actually, I won't get him on camera. I won't get him. Or him. I said him. I gendered the child.
It is a boy.
Now, how could I tell? Anyways, thank you so much for that, and have a fantastic Pride.
You take care. Thank you. Bye.
3, 2, 1. Run this way, baby! What, you were born with those stilts?
What stilts? These are my legs.
That must have been a very painful birth for your mum.
Yes. Well, it was a cesarean, so it's all right.
You came out with the glitter as well.
Oh, glitter and stardust, darling. Stardust always. Yes.
And bubbles.
And bubbles. Glitter and bubbles.
Have a fantastic Pride, yeah?
More trans flags, lots of them.
This actually it feels like quite a long parade. It's quite spaced out, but it's quite a long one. More Protect the Dolls. Okay, here are a bunch of lawyers. Central Chambers, Manchester. We put the law into flawless. Legal experts with rainbow wings. I wonder if they're involved with any of these cases, tribunals that we've had. Oh, wow. Love House. Sorry, I'm going. Okay, no pride in apartheid. LGBT plus for a free Palestine. Jewish action for Palestine. Jews against genocide. How are you enjoying Pride so far?
We're loving it. It's great.
Is this the first time you've come to Manchester Pride, or?
My second time. For me, it's
First one for you?
Yeah.
Right. And the message or the theme of this year is love. How would you interpret that?
I think just showing more love for each other and solidarity and community. Stuff like that, I suppose.
Now, there's a lot of talk about what the government's been doing, what the Tory government's been doing previously, now what Labour's doing in terms of healthcare, law, policies, and we had a big ruling by the Supreme Court earlier this year. How did you feel when you heard the news of the ruling?
If I'm honest, it made me really depressed. It made me scared to go outside at first and scared to just live in public life. But then, in a way, it's kind of empowered me to be myself in spite of that and just, keep going. And then, you go outside and people are actually lovely if you meet them in person. And the government and the EHRC, they don't reflect the views of the real people living in England, in my experience.
Is this now causing issues, like when you want to go to the toilet, or you're like, oh, where do I go?
I've not personally experienced that, but I know people that have, and I know it causes me a lot of anxiety, fear using the women's restrooms and stuff. And yeah, it just makes it difficult to go outside sometimes, but I try to keep going.
Does it mean that you now, I don't know, you have to go into the gents?
I think in terms of the EHRC guidance, it means we can't go to either. And we're encouraged to use third spaces or disabled bathrooms, and I just think that's wrong. I think that's taking away facilities from actually disabled people. It's pushing us out of society. And
like here in Manchester, are there good gender-neutral options?
Not many places. There's some nice places like restaurants and stuff, but a lot of the time you can't just go into those if you're out and about. And I find public facilities are very lacking anyway in this country. And yeah.
So would you just continue using the ladies?
Yeah, I don't let it stop me. If I gotta pee, I gotta pee. I'm not gonna just stop and piss in the street, am I?
Now, if there were guys like me who would say, look, because I've seen some signs that people put up you can pee next to me, right? You're safe with me. Is that something that would kind of make you go, all right, then this is the law or whatever, I'll go to the gents because there's guys there who will look after me there. Is that feasible to think?
Maybe, but I think I never felt comfortable in the gents even before I transitioned.
I don't really,
Yeah, I think trans women belong in the bathrooms, but it's their gender identity, because that's where, we fit in, that's how we present, and that's who we are, and we should be in the facilities that represent us, and we're not a threat to anyone. I don't see it as a threat to anyone.
Okay, last question. So it got a bit serious.
I know.
But it is serious.
It is serious.
Do you have a message for JK Rowling?
I think... Sorry, I need to work up to that. I think she...
She needs to get her black mold sorted out in her house.
I wish that she would just go back to being a beloved children's author and stop spreading hatred and violence and mixing the message of feminism with the message of, conservatism. And like, she is basically, I feel like she is supporting toxic masculinity and the patriarchy more than she is women's rights at the moment with what she's representing.
Okay.
And trans women are women, and we all are in this fight together for women's rights. It's not like if trans women have rights that we're taking away from women's rights. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, you don't see a conflict there like she does.
We're all in this together. We're like, even ever since Stonewall and like the people that fought there for women's and gay rights, it's the same fight.
Okay, I am here with Mr. Leather John.
Yeah, hi, hello.
Hi. Okay, so is this something you've made yourself?
Yeah, I like to sew on my free time, and this is something that I usually do.
Yeah.
Like I have already sewn the headpiece and also the barn and some other pieces that I'm not wearing right now. Yeah,
right.
I like to sew.
And you told me earlier you're from Spain, but do you live here?
No, we just came for the Pride.
You came all the way from Spain for Pride?
Yeah, because we were, early on in January, I think it was this year, we were just having some beers. And it was like, okay, let's go somewhere for a weekend, let's take the Prides. And we saw this one, we had never come here to Manchester,
right.
And it was a great opportunity.
Have you been to other Prides in the UK before?
No, not really. This is my first Pride here in the UK, yeah.
Wow. And in Madrid?
Yeah, in Madrid, yeah, I've been to Madrid Pride, been also to Barcelona Pride. It's somehow different. I like it I feel this is more authentic.
More authentic? Oh, in what way?
Because you get to see all the different communities and all the different work councils, going into the Pride instead of just being brands. So I find that really interesting, seeing the community supporting the Pride. Mm-hmm. That's something that, in Madrid you don't get to see that because that part is very small and then comes all the brands.
Okay. I thought Madrid is quite a big city, right? There must be quite a big, loads of gays and stuff.
It changed, the Pride in Madrid changed and now it's very commercial, so you don't get to see this involvement of the community.
Okay, I see what you mean. Now, here in the UK, I don't know what it's like in Spain, but there's quite a bit of tension brewing between people who think that it's very important to acknowledge sex and people who are much more into gender identity.
Yeah.
Do you get that as well in Spain?
I don't think in Spain the topic is on that, because we don't really get a topic in Spain.
Okay.
But something that I have seen on this Pride is the huge support to trans rights and the inclusion of the trans, because also I've heard about the latest news here in the UK about the trans women and how they are not allowing to exist within their gender. And yeah, it's been great to see that huge support on all the different groups passing by on the Pride, yeah.
Okay. So you would say mujeres trans son mujeres?
Of course, they are. Yeah, totally.
Okay. And hombres trans son hombres?
Yeah. And I think that's how they are. So I don't understand why they are trying to make those decisions on someone else's behalf in someone else's life, because
I think one rift that we have here, or where the tension is the recognition of homosexuality. So a gay man and a lesbian is about sexual orientation, and it's based on sex in the law. Mm-hmm. In the UK, at least, we had a big judgment in April by our Supreme Court that said it's about sex, it's about biological sex. So a man is someone who's born male, a woman is someone who's born female. So trans women are men, and trans men are women under the Equality Act.
Under the law, under what you had, the current rule of the judge.
Yeah. Now, I just want to add to that there is also something in our anti-discrimination law called gender reassignment. So on that basis, people who consider themselves to be trans are protected, and that's not changed. And as part of this ruling, there were a bunch of lesbians. There were different lesbian groups that were part of this, going to the Supreme Court to say, look, if you say that trans women are women, then people born male can be lesbians, and they.
I think
They don't
that
agree with that.
that's taking the discussion somewhere where the topic is not, because at the end we all want to be free, we all want to express ourselves, and someone who has changed the sex because that's the way they are, they're not gonna get into something else. They're not gonna push the law to go like a topic in Spain that happened was about there were some groups of people saying that males in the prison would want to change the sex so that they would be transferred to a women's prison.
Yes.
And that's not going to happen if someone.
It's happened in the
sex.
it's happened in the UK, but I think in Spain that was a big issue because there was La Ley Trans, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
So you can now change your legal sex.
Yeah.
Just by making a declaration. You don't have to have any surgery. You don't need any
That's
hormones. So you could now say with your beard and your penis, I'm sure you you have one,
could be
that you
declared.
are a woman.
But if you do that, then you do not do that because you feel a woman and you are a woman. Someone can put a law, a suit against you, and they can say that you have committed fraud against the law.
Yeah.
And you can, and that's like you will have a sanction to do something against the law, acknowledging that you are doing it against the law.
Yeah, but there was a man, well, he's a soldier, a Spanish guy. I can't remember his name because it was a very...
He did that, yeah.
Right, and he's legally a woman now.
Yeah.
Vale, entonces ya vas viendo cada vez más claro y dices, bueno, sí, yo la verdad que me siento mujer, porque a mí me gusta mi cuerpo, yo estoy feliz con mi cuerpo, y después me gustan las mujeres. Era una controversia. Claro. Y salió la ley y dije, coño, pues, ¿por qué no? Yo soy feliz con mi cuerpo, o sea, sí, gracias a Dios con esta ley yo me puedo percibir, o sea, yo me percibo mujer y puedo ejercer mis derechos como mujer.
And he wanted to use the female toilet, and nobody could say no because the law says he's a woman. So
of course you always have people on the fringe that are going to use the current law to go on their private interest, but that's not a common rule. Just because one man has done it, at the moment I don't know if there are currently ongoing charges against him or not, but at the moment it's just one guy that is using that publicity to spread the far-right speech in the public media. So he's actually using something to go towards his private interests and not towards the real nature.
He has like a high heel fetish and he wants to go, he's a straight man, so he wants to go into the women's for... it's messy because now he has all the rights, he has women's rights. So.
Yeah, but the law needs to exist in order to support the different communities. But when someone uses the law to promote their own private interests or to promote other things that the laws are not used for that, you have law enforcement to prosecute those kind of things. But you cannot remove the law just because one guy in all Spain has done that and take away the rights of so many other people that is actually living better because of that law. So the law needs to exist, and if someone commits fraud against the law, then they should be prosecuted.
What's your plan for the rest of the day?
Yeah, now we're gonna have lunch, and then I guess we will go to the gay village to keep on drinking some beers and dancing with the music and the vibe.
When you're going back?
Monday, I think. I don't actually know. I need to check.
Lunes.
Lunes, yeah, on Monday.
Okay. Muchas gracias.
Okay.
And enjoy the rest of your time here.
Thank you very much.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Now I'm here in Manchester with a full-on turf, not just any turf, with Tara. And the first time we met was in London, outside the German embassy, wasn't it? For the protest against self-ID.
Yeah, that was it. That was a year ago.
And then we met at the protest here in Manchester back in June, where they...
Nottingham. We met in Nottingham as well.
Wow, yeah, we get around. So you've been sort of witnessing Pride here in Manchester today. What are your impressions? How do you feel about it?
It's really, really uncomfortable being in a situation like that, in a hostile environment, and I think one of the biggest things is I've seen the NHS and the Fire Brigade marching, and everyone out with their trans flags, and it's some really horrible signs from trans people with really disgusting swear words that you shouldn't, there's no need for that kind of stuff. But my worst thing, the worst thing about it is to see so many children, even toddlers, being dragged into it, and they're being told that, humans can change sex, and that it's fantastic and magical and amazing, when any child, it's a normal part of life, a normal part of puberty, to be uncomfortable with your body, the way it's changing, and to have unhappiness, and to come to terms with that, and deal with the body that you've got, and to nurture it and love it and accept yourself. And these vulnerable children are being told, well, you can be magical and glittery and fantastic, and everybody will say that they love you and you're accepted and you belong, when they do anyway. They can anyway. I mean, it's great to see that, gays and lesbians are, nobody really cares who they sleep with or what their sexuality is, but the targeting of children is for the trans thing is just really, really horrible.
Have you had any funny looks because of what you're wearing?
Well, I did, but I had felt like I had to cover it up because I felt unsafe. Everybody knew till 5 minutes ago that humans can't change sex, but to say it, or for people to think it makes you a target, and it's really, really uncomfortable.
Now, you had a choice of what to wear today. You obviously chose to go for this one, knowing how it might be received. Why did you opt for this one?
To be honest, I've been being the billboard for about 2.5 years. There was a woman in Australia who was beaten up because she was wearing a woman, adult, human, female t-shirt, and I was outraged by this. This was even before Posey Parker was nearly lynched. And I was, no, I'm going to wear the t-shirt and going to tell everybody that, women are adult human females, and I'll do that until people stop being beaten up for saying it. I didn't realise that I'd still be wearing this stuff 2.5 years later, but standing for women is so important, and it prompts loads of conversations. I get loads of thumbs up, and I get loads of beeps, and I get loads of support for it, and people are really thankful that some of us who can actually put our faces out there and say, no, actually, women isn't a costume. A woman is born, not worn, and the more that people can say it, then the better we'll be.
For some of the people that need to hear this, what is a woman?
A woman is a.
Oh, here we go.
A woman is a adult human female. You've just had an interesting interaction with people on the street. Tell me about that.
Right, I saw this young woman, and she had like a royal sort of, what do you call it? It's not a cape, it's like a robe, a royal robe, like red, and on the back it said Queen of the Huns, Huns, and she had a crown, and she was there with 5, 6 others maybe, some guys, some girls, and they all had pictures of celebrities on their shirts. Like one had Carol Vorderman, then it was Kim from How Clean Is Your House, Kim Woodburn. Mm-hmm. What was the other one? Nadine from Girls Aloud. There was Bianca Del Rio. Different celebrities that they consider to be Huns. I still don't quite know what Hun meant. Is that just like honey?
I think they were saying it was a kind of woman that has Prosecco at lunch, and she has a certain kind of attitude, and they quite liked them.
Right, so, and for some reason this young woman considers herself to be Queen of the Huns, so that's the outfit that she got for Pride. I'm just like, what does Huns mean? Anyway, so they explained, we're just having a nice little chat, and then obviously I'm here with Tara, who's got her I Love JKR hoodie. And then I asked, so would you consider JK Rowling a Hun as well? Is she one of the Huns? And this girl was kind of a bit confused, right? She's like, oh, the first thing she said was, yes, yes. And then she went, oh, what? And then one of the guys, gay guy, he was like, he actually said he loved that you were wearing it, right? Which I was like, oh, hurrah. Then what did they say?
And then one of the women said, apart from her being a massive transphobe.
Right, and that was the Queen of the Huns who actually said that. Oh, right, and then some of them were saying, one of the other women and one of the guys were like, well, you know, it's, I mean, you can like the work, you can separate the person from the art or something along those lines. And, you know, I love the Harry Potter novels and I think she's great as an author, but, you know, she's a massive transphobe. So then I asked, do you really think that that's what she is? Or does she maybe have a point? What did they say then? They were just like...
Well, you mentioned that as a gay guy, you were really happy with her.
So
you loved her.
I said, I'll be honest, I love her because she stands up for women and in particular she also stands up for lesbians and gay men and she stands up for our rights. Then I mentioned the Supreme Court ruling. I asked if they'd heard of it. This guy just kind of went blank. So then I just explained, look, it's about, you know, sex meaning sex in law, in the Equality Act, and that a woman is an adult human female and a man is an adult human male. And I said, I think it's really important because if you don't acknowledge that, I've said this 100 times now on camera, I guess, so maybe it's a bit boring for my regular viewers. But I said, but that seemed to register, at least with the Queen of the Huns. I said, if you now say that a trans woman can be a lesbian or a trans man can be a gay man, what you're doing is you're rewriting homosexuality to include those of the opposite sex. And she kind of went, huh. She did have a moment, right? And then I'm like, so effectively, you're not just rewriting homosexuality, you're completely erasing the meaning of homosexuality. And I said, as a gay man, I think it's really important that our gay rights are based on sex. And it was quite calm and friendly. But then one of the guys who earlier said he loved you wearing that top just went, I can't talk about this. I can't talk about this now. Or I don't want to talk about it. What did he say?
I think he just said, no, I can't talk about this.
Right. And then suddenly they're all, oh, we got to go somewhere. We're late. Bye. But their faces changed, right? So just being a gay man saying, sex matters to me. It matters to me that my rights in law are protected on the basis of sex at Pride. And they're like, I can't get over that. I just can't. I've heard this at Brighton Pride, at London Pride, at Trans Pride, London. It's like, this is it now. You can't even. They feel uncomfortable. At least they might agree, some of them, but they're too uncomfortable to just say, yes, homosexuality is based on sex at Pride.
Do you think if that guy hadn't have said that, your conversation would have lasted longer?
Yeah, because there was a switch. He flicked a switch. We gotta go. And the other guys and that other woman, young woman, it's the look in the eyes, it changes. And they were like, these are fucking horrible fascist Nazi transphobes. Let's get away. But what I like about that exchange is nothing we said was aggressive. We were just being we had a very pleasant exchange with them up until that point. So they can't just go, oh my God, they were so nasty, they were so horrible, they were so aggressive. We're not. Just saying that homosexuality is based on sex. Duh. Duh. It's mad, isn't it? Right, the parade's over now. But maybe that person's still waiting for another float. That felt like quite a long parade. It went on for hours. But now it's finished, so I'm gonna see if I can do some more interviews, but I'd be quite happy to go home actually, but I'll see if I can find some other people to speak to. I didn't see any, I have to say, compared to London. In London there were so many misogynistic, like anti-TERF signs, anti-JK Rowling signs. Haven't seen any of those here in Manchester, but then I didn't get as close to the parade. I may have missed loads and loads of signs. So I'm just going to see if I can catch up with the crowd and have a look at more of the signs. Just had another long conversation with about 4 people. I just quite like randomly going up to people and asking them, how was your Pride, and if they'd heard of the Supreme Court ruling and what they make of it. And one guy was very adamant, we have to listen to trans people. Nobody knows what it feels like to be trans because we're not trans. And I sort of countered that by saying, well, but by the same token, you could say that a so-called trans woman doesn't know what it means to be female because they were born male. But again, it wasn't an aggro conversation. Went on for quite a bit. This guy then said that he was very much, we have to support them, listen to trans people, listen to trans voices, blah, blah, blah. We should all love each other, inclusion, happiness, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, my sister just came out as non-binary. And I went, how old is she? 19. And I said, right, so she's non-binary. And he said, yeah. And I said, but you still call her your sister. And he went, oh, my bad, my sibling. And from then on, only used they, them pronouns. He just wants everyone to feel like they have a place in life and for no one to feel shit, because he felt really shit as a gay guy coming out and all that. So it's that emotional place where they come from. Then I used to come from myself, but it can easily blind you from the actual issues. Now, so we did have a nice chat, and it was at the very end, and I thought it's kind of nice to have these sort of chats where you start off quite friendly. You don't go straight in with, so you support sterilizing children, because, then you're not going to get anywhere. But at the very end, he said, no, I do agree on the sports thing, right? Trans women should not be in sports. And I'm like, they do know there is a difference. Anyway, so as you can hear maybe behind me, there is a huge party going on. There's like a fun fair. There's bars and drinks and whatever else. So people are going crazy. But it's fenced off, so because you have to pay to get in. And I think I've kind of had enough. I'm good. I want to go and get Tara a drink, get myself a drink, chill out, and jump on the train back home. I have to say, it didn't feel aggressive here in Manchester. I'm pleasantly surprised. But then it could easily turn, if I had gone out on the street with my sign, or if Tara had worn her adult human female shirt on the street, then you don't know how easily it can turn. Well, you know that it can turn very easily and quickly. But anyways, I think that's kind of enough for today, unless I find some other people to interview, but I'm good. So thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Oh, there's someone I want to interview. Excuse me. Hiya. How's your Pride?
Good, thank you.
Right, I'm recording different people just to ask them some questions about how their Pride was today. Do you mind being on camera? Or?
I haven't even gone to Pride yet, I've only just arrived.
Oh, you've only just got it, but you got your shirt. Can I film your shirt?
Yeah, you're more welcome to.
So, I just want to say, if you're trans and reading this, I love you, and so do all my mates. Why does this message matter to you?
Because everyone's loved, no matter who they are, and no matter everything that's changing around the world right now. The message is, if you're gay, if you're trans, be who you are, and you're loved.
Right. And do you have trans friends?
Yes, I have loads of trans friends, actually, and I always support them no matter what they do.
Yeah. Cool. How, are you aware of the Supreme Court judgment that we had? Right?
Yes, I am, yes.
Okay.
And exactly why I happily and proudly wear this today, to be fair, because you stand against everything that's been done, kind of lawfully. That's what's happening around there. It's not lawfully. There's people here that are human beings, and let's say, be who you are.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that we're human beings, apart from maybe the furries, because they identify as a dog or something. But are your friends quite upset about the ruling?
Yeah, obviously a lot of people are challenging the ruling here in the UK. Some friends are in companies, some friends that are outside of companies, and they're really challenging it no matter what. I've seen people do protests as well, and we're happily supporting them at the same time.
Okay.
Yep.
I was in the Supreme Court when they handed down the ruling, because I thought this is a biggie, I want to be there.
Yeah.
One of the things that the judges said is, by saying that sex is sex, basically,
yeah,
it protects gay rights and the rights of lesbians and gays specifically. So, do you think that acknowledging homosexuality in law, as it does, that is somehow against trans people?
No, I think the way society has come through over the past 20, 30 years. It's a case of like, you should be able to feel who you feel, and you should have to access the facilities you need as a person. So, I mean, it's 2025, to be fair. Get rid of all the old kind of regulations, the kind of the physical genitalia, and move past that. You know,
Right.
people should be able to feel how they want to feel,
Right.
and you know, with kind of love in the kind of center of that is what I think should happen. And kind of just this whole kind of backwards kind of reverse of all this kind of stuff is just it's rubbish, to be fair.
And you're happy to say that trans women can be lesbians and trans men can be gay men?
Trans people can be anyone they want. Gay people can be anyone they want. You can love whoever you want to be, and that's kind of the message. And the whole thing that Pride is about.
Thank you.
All right,
have a good day.
Thank you, buddy.
It's like everyone's just captured. It's like mental. It's like, you can't just be anything you want to be because you want to be that. It's like, come on. You know what a lesbian is. You know what a gay man is. Like, these people, like, what the hell? Man. Anyways, so yeah, now I've definitely had enough. So thank you for watching. And if you want to support my channel, you can do so via Patreon, that's monthly, or via PayPal, that's one-off, on a one-off basis. You can just like send me a tip, or on here via super thanks on YouTube. Oh my days. I don't know what to say. Like, how can so many people say so many stupid things? But this is what we're up against, and why it's important to just keep going. All right, see ya.
And then it was time for us to get some drinks. Then I went to the train station and I saw this.
And here's another message from Manchester to me. Can't get away from it.
But I found some sweet relief on the train, so I spent the journey back with a bunch of football supporters who'd gone up for the Tottenham versus Manchester City game, and they were in good spirits because Spurs won, and they had quite a few drinks on them, also pina colada, so they gave me a pina colada. They asked me, you know, how my day had been. I told them about Pride, and we basically agreed on most things. They all knew what a woman was, and then they started singing the pina colada song.
Luckily, I was back in time to get calm and ring Foundation. Help you if you have half a brain.
So that was actually a really nice journey back. Right, that's the end of this video now. See you in the next one. Ciao!
Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to my PayPal and Patreon supporters. Because of you, I can make videos like this. Special shout out to my big spenders. Help Her Open, Mama Turv and the Turventines, me Julie, the lovely Mary, Julia, Dusty, Judels, Leffy, Dorothy, Wildfire, Esther, and Martha. Thank you.